apparently what happened was, I suddenly did, I think the last person I did was George Layton. Apparently during editing of his programme, somebody said, there must have been editing my bit, I suppose, and said, have we ever done Christopher Timothy? And somebody else said, yeah, we must have done. And then they realised they hadn't. I was working on Doctors at BBC Pebble Mill in those days. It was a day when I had a scene, several scenes in early morning with Paul Shane. And we got through the scenes and they were all fine, and Paul was great fun, and we were probably behaving quite badly and giggling a lot and all that stuff. Then we came to the ultimate scene, and it was the last scene for me for the day. I had the day off. Suddenly we got to this scene which we kept redoing. And we kept redoing it. I mean, 6, 7 times, and that's very rare in Doctors. And it wasn't until suddenly they said, cut. And I sort of went to relax, and Michael Aspel walked in through the door. And I knew immediately. It wasn't as if... But I didn't necessarily know it was me. I just thought, oh, they're doing This Is Your Life. I thought maybe it's Paul. I mean, I had no idea. He says, Christopher Timothy, this is your life. And that was it. And I was tickled pink. I was so thrilled. There was no, oh no, this is awful. This is intrusive. I didn't think any of that. And I've had my fair share of intrusion, let me tell you, from the press and all that. But this was, I was just so excited. I grew up with This Is Your Life, and they only did famous people. And I thought, this is a real mark of being famous, I guess. But I was thrilled to bits. Who's going to be on it? Who's going to come and say nice things? Or not? But even that didn't cross my mind. I didn't think, no one's going to come and slag me off, are they? And if they do, they'll cut it out, won't they? I was staying with friends in Birmingham. They had a 2-bedroom cottage, and I had the spare bedroom. It was John Broome, who used to be a prop buyer on All Creatures, and we stayed friends. And they are just the most delightful, lovely people. And when I got Doctors, we said, oh, where am I going to stay? Because, Doctors was not a big money earner. And Annie said, talk to John. He's bound to know somebody who's got a small flat or whatever. So I rang John. This is John. This is a terrible impersonation. But he said, now you come here. I said, John, I'm going to be there for at least 3 months. I had no idea I'd be there for 5 years. And I said, he said, no, he said, come here, unless you don't want to. Well, what can I do? So it's very important to know that's where I was living, and in Diggs, if you like, and it was just joyous. It was like being at home. It was fantastic. So I said, and Michael couldn't come, wasn't going to travel down because he was going to do some more filming before they left Birmingham. So I said to Sue, was it the producers, whatever her name was, and she said, yes, Will, can we go by my Diggs to pick up my shoes? Yes, of course. So we went to the Diggs, and I thought also my script for tomorrow, because I had scenes the next day, quite late in the day, but scenes I had to learn. So I got to the house, let myself in, and the alarm went off, and I thought, I've forgotten they had an alarm. I've been here weeks, and I had no idea what the alarm was. And then I remembered that right next door, literally next door, lived their daughter. So I tapped on the door, and the man was going, and I tapped on the door. She opened the door very quickly and saw me and went, "Whoa!" I said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to make you jump." I said, "But she said, I can hear. Come." So she came round and stopped the alarm, and I said, "I've just got to pick up 2 minutes, and you can." So I went upstairs. I couldn't find my shoes, and the producer said she could hear from the car me cursing this way. Where are my shoes? And anyway, I thought and I got the script at least, and I came downstairs, and suddenly as I got to the door, I thought, wait a minute. So as we went down, Jackie did the thing, locked the door, and scuttled back to her house. She didn't say anything. And just as she was closing the door, I said, whoa, wait a minute. I said, have your mum and dad gone down to London? And the door was like this, just her nose. And she said, I'm not allowed to say anything. And closed the door. So I thought, well, so we got to the car, and I was thinking, well, and I thought, John and Vi coming, that's fantastic, because, my life would not be the life it is without them, that's for sure. So I went all the way down in the car. I kept saying, "Now, when my brother was there," and she was really camp. The producer kept saying things like, "Well, it might. It's for me to know and you not to find out," and all that was going on. And then I said, "Well, I'm going to ring Annie." She said, "You can't." I said, "What do you mean I can't? She's my wife. You can't tell me I can't ring my wife." And it was all quite light-hearted. So I rang Annie, and I said, "Hello." And she giggled and obviously sounded a bit, we shouldn't be talking, and said, yes. I said, what do you mean, yes? I said, what are you doing? And she giggled and said, I'm rehearsing. And she said, I can't talk now. I said, well, I can't talk now. I put the phone down. And then when we got there, I got this, it was all very high security. And we came around that last corner before Thames Television, and as we came around the corner, the driver was going, just approaching so-and-so, so-and-so. It was all down, and he whispered, and he kept his voice down, as if people outside could hear. And out of one of the gateways, the gateway for the staff and things, came a girl all in black with one of those speaky things on, and just going. And we just drove in, and literally she opened the door and dragged me out of the car. I think I had a bag, a carry bag or something, with my script in, and literally dragged me into the room, took me up some stairs, put me in a very nice room. She said, somebody will come and see you in a minute. Closed the door and then locked it behind me. So I was locked in this room. And it was a very nice dressing room, and there was a telly, and there was lots of food and drink if I wanted it. And there was the suit that I knew Annie would have brought for the show. And on the floor were my shoes, which John had cleaned within an inch of their life. They had never looked so good. And it was things like that that made me emotional. And then I realised there was a telly. I thought, telly. And I know the televisions in buildings like that, you can tune into the studio. So I was knelt over it, going, and I'm a technophobe, but I was trying to get through to the studio so I could see guests speaking and thinking, I hope he doesn't do that on the show and all that. But I couldn't. And as I didn't hear the door open, and it was the guy who was looking after me, the dresser, and he came in and he came across and he went, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to find these. You can't. You're a very naughty boy. So he said, no, do you want anything ironed? And I said, well, it's a brand new shirt. Well, it was a new shirt, and he had got me a new shirt to be on the telly. I was up there for about an hour, and then finally, and then much of the programme I can't remember. I just remember odd bits that tickle me pink. That's all. A long time ago, I got involved with a charity called the Sick Children's Trust, which is the charity that builds or refurbishes houses near to children's hospitals, so that parents who are far flung can stay and be in situ. The bottom reason being, the bottom line, is that children recover quicker and better if their parents are at hand. So it's a very worthwhile charity and very unsung. And so I was pleased to be part of that. And there was a little girl a long, long time ago. I think she's about 12, and she came to visit me, came and saw me in a play, and I met her, and she was adorable, and her parents are lovely too, and so we chatted, and I said we'll keep in touch, and anyway, no, that's that, and I've done odd things for them, subsequently, and I was sitting down, having sat down, and Annie was there, and I'd seen all the family, and there'd been a moment when they obviously froze the camera a bit while we all went, oh, hi, all that. Indulgent rubbish. And then finally I sat down and I sat looking at the guests on the other side, and I saw George Layton, and I saw everything, and I saw, that's Lorna, isn't it? The girl who then by that time was not a little girl, she was late teens, early 20s. And at one point during the programme she spoke, and it was fantastic. And what was fantastic was, she said at one point, and she said, I met this, this famous actor, and she said I was a bit sort of, but he was very nice, and he said, well, we must keep in touch. And she said, I remember thinking at 12, yeah. So afterwards, I said to her, that your minute was, was just wonderful. So she said, well, they gave me a script. She said, and it wasn't how I'd say it at all, but it had to be a minute. So she said, I rewrote it, and then Dad timed me. And we kept cutting it and editing it until it was 1 minute. And that wasn't on the programme. That was something I learned afterwards, which was even better. That the effort people make for you, for each other, is just so heartwarming. So it was just amazing. And the other one was Charlie Bayliss, the big guy who we worked in the shop together when we were both teenagers. And I could see when he came on, he was terrified. And he was telling a story about when I was outside doing the brasses on the front of the windows, and he was inside doing the windows from the inside on the window, and he was doing the glass, and because I'd seen Norman Wisdom do it, I'm sure, and being a show-off, I put my hand up to him, and we did this mirror thing, and the thing. The minute I touched his hand, I felt him stop shaking, because Chris knows what I'm talking about, so this will be okay. And I remember being very moved by that. I think what I found from it is that I relaxed a bit on the I need to be approved scale. I thought maybe things aren't quite as bad as I thought. I think This Is Your Life sort of encapsulated all that, and suddenly people said nice things. I do wish that I could have done it with Eamon Andrews, because I also met him on a couple of occasions, and I really liked him too. And my memory of This Is Your Life is Eamon Andrews, with no disrespect to Michael, but because I watched it from a kid, you know, from when it started in that sort of flickery black and white television. And you know, and one of the excitements, I mean, I've said it before, but one of the excitements was actually thinking, I'm going to be on This Is Your Life. Yeah, I just remember it being slightly surreal, but I loved it, and I couldn't wait to see the edited version. The unedited version is better, but it's far too long and a bit rude, just a bit rude.